Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show, an amazing video podcast with sports stars, entertainment celebrities, and other great guests, combining one host who has no legs, one host who lives in Duluth, Minnesota, and another host who seems to never be on the show. But now, on to the show with Troy, Dave, and maybe even Will.
Well, that music, of course, can only mean one thing. Yes, we are back with our Halloween edition of the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show. Of course, I am Dave Stevens, joined, of course, by my co-host from Duluth, Minnesota, Troy Geary. Troy, how are you, my friend? It's great to see you. Didn't get the postseason that we wanted with the Twins, but still it was exciting. And now on to the World Series with Texas and the Diamondbacks, huh? How about those Diamondbacks?
Yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season if it would have been Rangers and Diamondbacks, I would have said you're crazy. But your hometown team and the Rangers, we're going to be, speaking of the Rangers, we're going to be in Dallas next weekend. So should be a great time.
Yes, of course. And I'd have to say that I have to give myself a little bit of credit as I talked to Torey Lovello and, of course, their pitching coach when we were down in Miami, and they started winning after that. And so I'd like to take a little credit where credit is due. Of course, I can't. But a great show tonight. We have an exciting guest that is joining us, a legend. One of my favorite reporters all time that I actually got to work with and be a part of and see her amazing career literally spanned so long and was just a huge impact as far as journalism and being a part of crossing over for females that didn't get a part. And so I'm going to bring in Shelley Smith, my old friend from ESPN. It's weird to even say retired, Shelley, because of you being a part of the Sports Center family for so long. But thanks for joining us out in the West Coast, and it's great to see you.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
Well, so how is retirement? Is it weird, especially with the NBA season coming up with you?
It's very weird. It's very, very strange. I can't get used to it. I don't know what to do with my days. I did bang up my car, scratched it pretty good, so I have that to. Sorry, my fingers are getting in the way. Although I talked to my car guy today, and he said, "Don't fix it." He goes, "Just turn it in, and we'll charge you then." I said, "Okay." That's good for me rather than having to take a day off day off. I'm retired.
Well, let's talk a little NBA. I mean, because that was your beat. I mean, do you still pay attention in case somebody asks you a question about the Lakers or Golden State or the Suns?
Yeah, I'm teaching at USC on Mondays. I teach sports commentary and a television show. So I have to know what these kids know, and these kids are very, very smart. So it's a constant scramble trying to keep up with them. I think I'm doing okay so far, but we don't know for sure. But I'm trying.
I want to ask you about since we're talking about NBA, you had a complicated work relationship with Kobe. Did you have the opportunity before he passed away to kind of mend those fences?
We did. We absolutely did, and I was very happy to do that because his office was in the same place where the Chargers practice, and I was covering the Chargers at the time. And I remember he came in and he came walking around looking, and he was looking for me apparently, and he found me, and we hugged and made up, and I said, "I've missed talking to you," and he said, "Yeah, I've missed talking to you," and I'm like, "I don't think so," but we did. We had a chance to clear the air, and I was really, really glad that we did before he died.
Shelley, taking us back to a different era, not so much internet and everything, when you had to cover what you had to cover in Colorado, we don't have to dwell on a lot, but it would be a lot different if you were covering that now. And I think what happened and what transpired, I mean, it's a whole different era now, but I mean, what do you think potentially would have happened had this taken place in this day and age?
Well, there was no social media back then, so that would have been an element that we'd have to deal with. And I think it would have gone a lot differently because he was able to apologize and get the record straight in his mind and in her mind as well. But I don't know that it would have turned out like that had it happened now. You see people who are arrested for a lot less, going through a lot more.
But it was a whole different era for you, Shelley. When you broke in, I mean, you were such a trailblazer and a pioneer, not only for
Oh,
female
stop it.
journalists, but you
Stop it.
were.
That
I
makes
mean,
me feel old.
well, what was it like though for you in those early locker rooms when guys just wanted to embarrass you and not respect you and just, they
That
wanted
never
the shock
happened.
value?
That
Never?
never happened. No, no. Guys never wanted to embarrass me or shock me. It was different, but they all respected me because I worked at Sports Illustrated at the time, and you don't get to Sports Illustrated unless you've proven yourself. So I had a lot of respect among my colleagues, and I don't think anybody ever. The only time that it was kind of funny was when I was pregnant, and they filled out a requisitions slip that they sent into the head office at the 49ers saying that, requesting bottles and pacifiers and bibs. And that was the only time really that they acknowledged the fact that I was female and pregnant. I had a really easy time.
That's awesome.
I want to ask you about. A lot of people know you as the reporter and broadcaster, but you're also an exceptional writer, writing a couple of books. You've done a lot of investigating reporting. A lot of people don't know you did the Manti Te'o story. Jake Olson, who was blind, you won an Emmy for that. So can you just talk about the writing aspect and, if you had a choice to pick between reporting and writing, which one do you prefer?
Well, they're not mutually exclusive. You report and you write all the time, and you just do it in a different form. And when I was covering the Chargers, I wrote a lot. In fact, that's about all I did. And because the Chargers weren't very good back then. I mean, Herbert had just come on the scene and still wasn't very good. And but it's different because it's a different medium, and you have different hoops you have to jump through in order to, make error or get in print or whatever it is that you do. Why are you putting up all those pictures of me? It's very different. I mean, you have to, and I teach now a sports writing and a TV class, and I tell them, when you're writing, you have to explain things, and you have to explain that he was wearing a red jersey or a red sweater and a black whatever. And when you're doing it on TV, obviously you don't have to do that because you can see that. So it's becoming more and more common for people to be able to do both, report and write for TV and for print. But I like both. I really do. I enjoy the challenge of writing for print because it does challenge you, and it forces you to think outside the box. And so when I see a good lead or a good paragraph, that I'm thrilled.
Shelley, what do you miss most about being, on the sidelines or breaking those news stories or, when you were responsible for America getting the information from, an NHL arena, NFL arena, NBA arena, or the breaking stories that you covered?
Well, I do sort of miss that, but not really because it's a lot of pressure, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure you can see them on these videos that you're showing. I made a lot of mistakes, and when you're writing, I don't even know what that one is. Um, you kind of hide. You hide a little bit, and nobody can really see you what you're doing. But when you're on TV, you're front and center, and you're right there, and you're doing everything right in front of everybody. Whether you make a mistake or not, you got to keep going.
And speaking of those mistakes, is there any one moment that sticks out in your mind that might have been a broken camera or a football player crashing into you or any of those?
No, there was a moment that I will forever regret. Was on the field here in LA, and I called Jim Harbaugh. I called him Jim McMahon, and that was bad. That was really bad. And my producer, Sherry Greenberg, jumped up and scared the hell out of me. Had she not jumped up and went, "Oh my God," I would have been fine and would have moved on. But she did, and she scared the hell out of me, and I will regret that one forever. That one, and then there's another one at the Final Four where I was standing on the courtside corner reporting on something, and the camera went out, or I went out, or somebody went out, and I had to stop and do it all over again. And I went like this with my hands, but somehow the camera guy never got that memo, so the whole thing aired with me screwing that up. So again, I've made a lot of mistakes, but
That's
I
not
had a
right.
lot of fun. I had so much fun doing it.
And you really just, it's great that you're taking some time to stay with us and talk about your amazing career. So stick with us. More with Shelley and her amazing career, and also her being a hero. We're going to talk a lot about that coming up next. You're watching, listening, or doing whatever you're doing to Geary, Stein, and Stevens.
Looking for shirts as a thicker guy can be difficult, but Fresh Clean Threads has you covered. They're designed with a little extra room in the stomach area, but still a nice clean fit on the arms and chest. They're also so comfortable that my girl loves to steal them to sleep in sometimes. They're easily the best fitting shirts I've ever worn. I get compliments every time I throw one on. People even ask if I've been hitting the gym more. Fresh Clean Threads fit like a designer shirt, but for a fraction of the cost. You've got to check them out.
Use that show code to save some money.
Hi, everybody. Dave Stevens for the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show at the Miami Marlins ballpark. And you know what? We get great stars, celebrities, and entertainers on our show, but there's all kinds of great programming and content on Your Home TV. Your Home TV is a free on-demand streaming service reaching global audiences. They feature family-friendly programs with a vast selection of topics and interests. Their platform ideally matches content producers, leading viewers, smart device precision, and immersive HD experiences, plus ease of transaction solutions for everyone. Plus, they've got great shows and content like A Moment of Zen, Financial Freedom, The Retirement Halftime Show, and Make It Happen. And they have all kinds of travel shows, food shows, great programming, and great content. So, for more information, go to yourhometv.com. Check out the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show and all of the other great shows. yourhometv.com. Tell them Dave sent you.
That's right. You can see us, watch us on Roku channel, Your Home TV, and of course where you find all kind of social media things on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those places that we are. As we continue with my old friend and coworker Shelley Smith, and Shelley, you have not had an easy life. The things that you've had to overcome in recent years with your health battles, and such a true hero of what you've done is not only beating cancer, but what you've done to raise awareness for all those that have been impacted and continue to be impacted. I mean, you say that you're a survivor, yet you're always battling it every day of your life. I mean, how have you had that inner fortitude to survive and overcome what you've done?
I just trusted the doctors, and that's all you can do is trust your doctors. And fortunately, they were correct, and they made the right diagnosis and the right treatment. And I went through 4 months of chemo, and I went through radiation, and I since then I've had 2 knee replacements and a hip replacement. And that was during the pandemic when I couldn't really go to physical therapy because they couldn't touch you, and they need to touch you to, force your knee down and do all these things. And so I'm still fighting that battle of walking and trying to get myself back together. But I was very fortunate that we caught it early. I didn't have a lump. I didn't have any kind of sign that there was anything wrong. I just went in for a mammogram, and that came back, and the doctor calls me, and this is the bad thing about being in this business and with doctors, they think they know you and they think that it's okay to just make fun of stuff. And so he's like, something happened on your mammogram. And I'm like, well, what? And he goes, well, we think we found a little bit of cancer. I said, you think you found a little bit of cancer? I was pissed. And I was like, you can't just do that. You can't just come on and say, we found a little bit of cancer and tell me what I need to do. And so I did. I'm sorry, my fingers keep getting in the way. And there's my hair short. And my dad made me grow it out long. He said it looks better longer. And I'm like, okay, Dad, whatever. But that's what I did. I just did what the doctors told me to do. And that's what I advise anybody to do. And if you don't like what they say, get a second opinion. And I didn't need a second opinion because my girlfriend had a really serious kind of breast cancer. And she introduced me to the doctor. And so everything was good from the very beginning.
Your first day back after that ESPN at the NFL draft, you were in Hawaii with Marcus Mariota. Kind of describe, that coming back and was it just like old time's sake, or did you feel a little different about that?
No, it felt good. It felt good. I mean, I was bald, so I didn't have any hair. So I had to do live shots with no hair, which was a little strange. But it ended up all being a blessing. And I'm just very fortunate that we caught it early and that the doctors knew what to do and I trusted them. And that's all you really have to do. I mean, it's not all you have to do. You have to do so many more things, but the basic is right there. Trust your doctors. Make sure you have a doctor that you can trust.
And Shelley, I mean, it's been just heart-wrenching to have watched some of those that you worked with at ESPN that weren't so lucky to win that battle. I mean, what were those discussions like with either Stewart or Robin Roberts or those people over the years when you guys had that bond and that fight that you all had to overcome?
Well, yeah, I mean, Stewart lost his battle. Brian Burwell lost his battle. So many other people have lost their battles with cancer. And they said it doesn't mean you lose to cancer. It just means that in this situation, the doctors didn't know, or they were wrong, or they didn't know. And so having the conversation with Robin was really tough because hers was really bad, really, really bad. And she had to have all kinds of tests and procedures and things that I didn't have to go through. Yeah, there we are sitting there talking. And she cried during the fact that we were sitting there talking. And she's an amazing person. And I've enjoyed watching her for years. And I will continue to enjoy watching her.
Losing both of my parents to cancer and to
I didn't know that.
deal with everything that you have to deal with. I mean, I can't even imagine what that is like to go through, knowing that this is a battle that you are going to have to on your own deal with.
I knew I would win. I just never considered the fact that I wouldn't win. I never considered, what if, what do I do? So I just went for it, and I just kept positive, and I kept, everyone says you're positive. Positive attitude helps everything. Well, positive attitude doesn't cure everything, but it certainly makes the journey a lot better. There's my daughter and at the Emmys, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But Shelley, I mean, to have to deal with there's wins and losses, and you don't want to think about those losses. So
Right.
how do you wake up every day knowing you're going to get sick? They're going to put poison in your body. They're going to do all these things that are supposed to help you when you're at your weakest and most vulnerable.
I just believed. I believed in the process, and I believed in my doctors, and I believed that I would win this battle. And I did.
Thank God. Troy?
I just want to ask you, I know you've been doing this a long time, a lot of different sports, you've done Olympics. If you had to think of one or two moments in your career, either a best game or experience that you've had, what would that be?
Oh, geez, all of them, all of them. I never had a day that I hated going to work. Every day I had to work, I was feeling like it was, the best day of life. And that's the way I approached everything. Everything was great. And I kept at it and just kept that attitude and never considered the fact that it might not turn out good.
Well, now that you've three books, I mean, is there a chance you're going to write a book about what you've overcome and the things, both your amazing career that spanned, from babysitting Keyshawn to writing a book with
No,
him, and
he babysat my daughter.
that's right, that's right,
Yeah.
Dylan, yes,
No, nobody wants to read about me. I started a book on Al Davis, and then he died, and suddenly nobody wanted to talk anymore. So I still have it in my files here, but I don't know that I'll ever get it done. But
and
he's an interesting guy.
And you talk about NFL and another guy that was so dear to yourself and myself, of John Clayton. What are your memories of John and how funny he was, and just a guy that you would look at the outside and don't realize how goofy and wonderful he was on the inside?
Yeah, he was a great guy, and his wife, she's the one who I felt worse for because she's disabled, and they put a elevator in their house in Seattle so that she could get up and down. But I don't know what she's been doing, and I haven't followed up since he died. But it was really, really sad. And I think about him quite often because Seattle's in the mix, and we're still fighting. And I wish he was still here fighting.
I just want to ask you, the NBA just started to tip off yesterday, day before. Just your thoughts on the season. I know you still follow a lot. Like I said, you were doing stuff at USC. And who do you think has the, I guess, will win this year? I know Denver won it last year. Do you think they're going to repeat?
I don't know. I've been listening to everybody on TV, and that's where I get my opinions from. And a lot of people think that, that they could, or a lot of people think that Milwaukee is on deck, but I don't know, and then there's the Lakers people. The Lakers people are diehard Lakers fans, and they say that the depth on that team is remarkable. And so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they didn't look so good against the Nuggets the other night, but we'll see. It's so early. It's hard to predict. Phoenix will be good. The Nuggets will be good again, and maybe the Lakers will sneak in there. Who knows?
Shelley, speaking of the Lakers, obviously LeBron's trying to, end his career on a winning note and win another title. But when they talk about those Mount Rushmores, and again, you're a person that covered Jordan and Magic and all these people along the way. Is he in the top five? I mean, I hate to rank, but when they talk about the greatest scorer, the greatest players, there's been recent debates and everything like that. Where will LeBron be when all this dust is settled, in your humble opinion?
Well, I think you have to go by eras. And I don't know that he would have been this good back when Jordan was playing. He might have been. I don't know that Jordan would be this good now. It's hard to compare players from different eras. And now I feel like Taylor Swift. But LeBron was going to be good whenever he played. But would he have been as good? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, well,
what do you guys think?
I don't know. We got this kid in San Antonio that looks like, again, in 10 years, we're going to be talking about him. He could be, and just the international basketball flavor really has changed the face of the NBA the last couple of years.
It has. And the game is completely different than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, 7-footers throwing up threes. Who'd have ever thought, right? And all the things too, especially Troy, you can explain a little bit about this Betalytics, BET-Alytics, where now you can type in, get the spread, look at what somebody's going to get with points and rebounds and fouls and all. I mean, Troy, you do this a little bit. You can explain it a little more, how it works. And of course, if they use our show code, they can save 25% off signing up for this stuff. I don't understand it. You tell us, Troy.
Yeah, you're using analytics, to help you get a one up on your betting. They give you grades, tell you if it's a good bet or a bad bet. You can bet on anything from points, totals, how many points LeBron's going to score. So basically, they give you an advantage to help you win your bets more. So great company.
Well,
I
don't even forget it. Yeah, I don't understand that stuff. Do you, Shelley? All this, like, no. I never thought we'd see a day where gambling was the MLB and NBA, like everybody's embraced stuff that was so taboo, and we got licensing for college players. I mean, it's totally different.
I know, and I wish I knew more about gambling, because then I would be a lot more successful. My mom was a big gambler, but we would pick the winners of, and that's all we had to do was pick the winners. And we won one year. We won, so we were so far ahead that they paid us off before the finals before the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Wow.
We were good.
Well, Shelley, I just want to thank you for spending a little time with us, and it's great to catch up. We haven't seen each other in a couple of years, and we got to change that. And if you had one moment, that one shining moment of your professional broadcasting career, is there that Emmy, that onstage share type moment that immediately brings a smile to your face in your career?
Pretty much everything. I mean, except for the mistakes I made. But yeah, winning an Emmy, the Jake Olsen Emmy was sweet. It was really sweet. And Jake is the best. And he's still mad that he didn't get a statue. I'm like, well, we'll try to get you one.
Yeah, Norby wouldn't come up with
yeah,
money.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and we've had a chance to have
money.
We've had Jake on the show, and what a great young
yeah?
man he's turned into. Yeah, just the things he's done.
He's stunning. His sister moved about 5 blocks from here, and he moved her in. He carried the furniture, and I mean, the guy has no eyes. That's the problem. But he was able to move her in, and then I was not going to go over for the housewarming, and then he goes, "Please come on, just come on. I'll walk you up and down." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that would be good." But he did, and he's just a sweetheart, and he couldn't be a better guy. And he's going to go far.
He is. Well, thanks for spending a little time with us, Shelley. Troy?
Anytime, guys.
I just want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. It's always an honor to talk.
Busy day, my foot. Are you kidding?
No, I'm sure you got a lot of things to do.
I do not.
Busy day, my no feet. And hey, look, I don't have to have hip replacement surgery or knee replacement surgery, so
because you don't have hips or knees.
Yeah, see, so those legs are overrated. So
I know mine are not very useful right now either.
All
you
right.
guys are great. I hope your show does well. I'm sure it will.
It will, because of you. So thank you so much, Shelley, and thanks to all of our friends and viewers and listeners out there. You've been watching the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show. For Troy Geary, I'm Dave Stevens. Continue to follow us on all social media platforms, on Spotify, YouTube, all those things, and of course on Roku and your home TV. We'll see you next time, America.
Thank you for tuning in to the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show. Follow us on social media. Watch us on yourhometv.com, or now we're on Roku. Download it and watch us. And thanks for tuning in. Until next time, America.